Hey guys, you guys know what? That is, today your JTeam is back. But JTeam do not come alone, we also have Agent 007 Casino Royale 2. Our celebrity as James Bond, 1001st spy, belonging to the OO system, is one of the super spies of the National Intelligence Service, so now we get on the boat to start watching how is Bond's mission. Le Chiffre, owner of a bank, led to Uganda by a mysterious contact Mr. White. At this time, Obano, the leader of the group of free soldiers, has been waiting for him for a long time. $100 million in cash is given to Le Chiffre. He does not trust Le Chiffre very much, but because of Mr. White's credibility he also tries to trust once. Le Chiffre's expression is always calm. After receiving the money, he immediately calls his subordinates, requests to buy several million shares of Skyfleet. 1 million shares, the total is up to $100 million. In other place, 007 takes up a mission to Madagascar. He is cooperating with others spying a bomb maker Malaka. They are about to succeed but Bond's partner is a crazy guy. The act of putting his hands on earphones makes them be revealed. Malaka runs like an arrow, escapes from the crowd in a blink of an eye. Bond doesn't panic at all. He immediately chases after the arrest. Everyone thought that with the skills of Bond, Malaka will definitely be arrested. But unexpectedly, he is a parkour player, moves between the cranes in the seaport. Even Bond isn't his rival, but he can't let the first mission after his promotion fail. After a while of intense chasing, Bond also reaches the African embassy, but Malaka has great backup strength. Embassy's staff risk to protect him. Finding this can't be discussed, Bond immediately takes action. He shoots a gun that kills the bomb maker, at the same time shooting at the gas tank, blowing up the building to escape. Bond is furious because Malaka is dead. Clues about the power behind him are also lost. While he is thinking, a message on the phone catches Bond's attention. Ellipsis. This message certainly has a hint of something. So a new quest begins. Bond open fire in the embassy quickly reaches Mrs. M. She is extremely angry. She never thought that Bond will throw her such a trouble. The ringleader isn't found then temporarily counts with his superiors. Bond is now in Mrs. M's house. Thoroughly applies the quote that the most dangerous is the safest place. Through MI6 internal system, he quickly finds out where send the message. After being cursed by Mrs. M, he silently goes to the Ocean Club again. He leads the security guard to leave, then breaks into the surveillance room. Based on the time of the message, Bond identifies it as the owner of a luxury car. His eyes bright up because he lacks a vehicle. He goes to the reception. Through some questions, he figures out the name of that car owner as Dimitrios. Then Bond goes to the beachfront's villa where he lives, and takes advantage of his wife, Solange. He quickly finds Dimitrios's plan. That night, in the hotel, Bond logs back into ML6's internal system. After finding out Dimitrios, he also finds Le Chiffre's files. Then Bond goes to the casino. As soon as he sits down, Dimitrios is angry, probably because he has lost many games in a row. Even the lucky kiss of his wife can't save this situation. Facing with Bond who is calmly playing cards, Dimitrios is even more angry. He takes out his card to place a bet. Of course, nothing but predictions. Bond's 3A wins his 3K. Dimitrios lost regretfully and leaves in anger. But Solange is ignorant, still waits for him there. It turns out that this woman just cares about the luxury car, no matter who, because when she sees Bond gets out of the car. In addition, a turn to look at the beach in daytime. She has a bit crush on him and gets in the car back to the hotel with Bond. Owing to his charm, he gets information about Dimitrios' plan then follows him. Dimitrios is sending luggage suspiciously right now. Place pickup cards on a table in the sightseeing area. When Bond is observing, he is discovered by Dimitrios. He deals with him with a knife. Then he finds an identical message on his phone, and the pickup cards on the table are gone. He quickly runs outside, then calls back to the picker number. Then discovers a suspicious person. He immediately follows that guy. But the opponent also has a good observation ability. Bond is quickly discovered. He changes his uniform and enters the staff entrance. So Bond didn't follow anymore. He calls Mrs. M on the phone. He says she needs to contact Miami Airport, because he thinks a bomb is going to go off. For the moment Bond seems to understand the meaning of that message. He uses it to enter the password, opens the door successfully. At the same time, the man with the bag opens the fire suppression system to create chaos. Then he sneaks into the airport, robs a tanker, hangs the warhead on the car. Bond runs as fast as he can. As soon as he gets there, he jumps into that car, tries to control the bombs. After a fierce battle, Bond gets the fuse out of the car. He stops the car at the final minute. The terrorist doesn't know anything. He watches Bond to be caught by the police and presses the bomb button. When he finds out, the bomb is on him. Boom, the terrorist is blown to death. But this lucky plane escaping belongs to Skyfleet Company. It is equipped inside with the most advanced techniques. Today is the day it is released. Le Chiffre knows that the explosion doesn't happen, so she is furious. It turns out that these things are all made by him. To provide a global service to his investors, he hires a terrorist, specializes in attacking companies whose stocks are trending well, takes advantage of that to sell stocks high, earn loads of money in one night. This trick, Le Chiffre uses 10 times and hits all. So this time he makes a big bet for $100 million. But now it all has become air. Now he not only has to bear huge debt, but also subjects to the wrath of Obano. A chain reaction happens right after. Demetrios's wife was tortured to death. Mrs. M also comes to the scene. This whole chain of events demonstrates there is a great force standing behind Le Chiffre's. What matters now is by the time the $100 million gap appears, Le Chiffre also participates in a game of poker. Odds are high at Royal casinos in Montenegro. A 10-player game, 10 million to join. If the player wins all of it, there will be at least $150 million. This deal is most likely Le Chiffre's intention and the forces behind him. To root these elements once, MI6 decides to enter it. As long as Le Chiffre loses this deal, then he will definitely fall into a dead end. It was also a great chance for MI6 got him. And the one doing this quest is 007. For avoiding the irrational Bond, Mrs. M has attached a tracking chip to him, and allows Vesper Lind, an agent of Queen's Treasury Department, to supervise Bond as well, and sponsors $15 million for him. All preparations are done. The two of them set out for Montenegro. After a long train, they also reach the hotel. Bond knew Le Chiffre had a lot of spies. He doesn't use a fake name but directly uses James Bond. Vesper is very angry but can only sign the payment. She gets into the elevator when Mrs. M's parcel arrives. Bond is extremely happy about her surprise gift. The Aston Martin is fully armed. After he finishes checking, he goes out. Go to find Renee Mathis, Montenegro contact. After receiving full intelligence, Bond goes to the casino. The game officially begins. 5 joint cards, 2 cards in hand. The condition to participate costs $10 million. After everyone is in position, dealer starts dealing. Bond keeps his composure while playing. He deliberately bets same as Chiffre. After few times like that, though, the deposit has a bit deficit. But the interest isn't bad, because Bond discovers Le Chiffre's habits. Every time he cheats, he puts his hand on his temple, next to his scar to suppress his startling feeling. To distract people's mind, Vesper dresses glamorously. Indeed, she attracts many attention. Bond finds this way successful. He immediately steps forward and kisses her. He tells her the habits of Le Chiffre. Then comes back to the hand. 4 hours passes quickly. 10 people haven't found the winner yet. They takes a break for an hour. Bond takes advantage when no one notices. Tuck the receiver into Le Chiffre's straw. Then take Vesper out of there. At the same time, Obano reaches the door to forewarn Le Chiffre. He doesn't dare to protest. Who dares to act impulsively to the leader of the Free Rebels? All of this reach Bond's ears. He is about to come to save him. But Obano doesn't kill other to revenge. So he has to wait for Le Chiffre to win the hand again. After bullying he leaves immediately. Bond hurriedly pulls Vesper and hides behind the wall. But headphones reveals his identity. The two sides immediately pulls out their guns. Bond doesn't panic at all. He easily knocks Obano's soldiers down the stairs, then strangles one to death. Vesper is panicked. Owing to Bond she can be conscious. After that, he changes his clothes and return to the hand. But he isn't in the mood to follow the game. The rest are in a similar state. The 4 hours pass by with nothing special. Have to wait for tomorrow to continue. Bond returns to the room and sees that Vesper is terrified. He comes closer to console her. The next day the courses are perfectly handled by Mathis. The game continues. Vesper, Mathis also come. Over 3 rounds, the smell of gunpowder begins to intensify. The 5 joint cards are J, K, A, J, and K respectively. The stakes are growing accordingly. The players leaves gradually, only Bond and Le Chiffre left. Seeing that the opportunity has come, Bond's cards are K and A, the odds of winning are huge. Unless Le Chiffre's card is AJ, AK or A. After a moment of thought, Bond bets 500,000 to try him. Le Chiffre indeed becomes tense. He starts his calculations. After a while, he makes a bet of 1 million. Bond doesn't hesitate, increases directly to 2 million. Le Chiffre starts to sweat. Continues to calculate for a long time, decides to put all to scare him out. Bond sees that Le Chiffre's is fully tense. He immediately follows till the end. He turns the cards, decides to bet a game. Le Chiffre is calm. He slowly turns his cards. It's double J4 jacks immediately put an end to Bond's deck. He loses everything, has to ask for the Vesper's help. He wants to use the remaining 5 million, but Vesper doesn't agree with Bond's plan. If they lose again, they are nothing less than sponsoring the terrorist. Bond angers, prepares to archive the mission by violence, but he is stopped by another player. It turns out that he is Felix Leiter, a CIA agent. He knows that his card skill is not as good as Bond, so, he comes to make an agreement. He agrees to sponsor Bond on the provision that the CIA will arrest Le Chiffre after he fails. Bond has no other choice, has to agree to the opponent's agreement. After re-entering the game, Bond has no plans at all. As long as Le Chiffre makes a bet, he immediately makes a double bet. This makes him unable to figure out what Bond is going to do. Le Chiffre decides to kill him. He tells his lover to put poison into Bond's alcohol. As expected, taking a sip, the poison affects. Bond couldn't help but leave. He runs back to the car to give himself the antidote. Defibrillates for self-help, but in a panic, the cord falls off. Mrs. M at the headquarters is worried. Fortunately, when Bond is about to die, Vesper arrives in time. She joins the cord, pushes the shock button, saves Bond's life. Then he goes back to the hand. At this point, the game has only 4 players remaining. The CIA agent is out. See, the money piles up into a mountain in front of Le Chiffre. Bond quickly takes his place. Thought it will be a fierce hand. Unexpectedly, joint 5 cards of first round as A, 8, 6, 4, A. The 4 are very happy, of course their cards are all quite good. The 2 people all bet, even if they only have 5, 6 million. At this point Le Chiffre raises his bet. After a moment of thought, Bond chooses to bet all. Le Chiffre is not inferior, he chose to follow. People start to turn the cards. The first person has just turned the cards. The immediately is forced to lose by the second person. Le Chiffre expresses his satisfaction, because his cards are A and 6. Of course, it is higher than the one who has just finished. At that moment he is having a good time. Bond turns his cards. Just 2 black 5 and 7, but combine with 4, 6, 8 in the joint cards. It turns out good, the same suit of 4 to 8 spades. Bond becomes the winner of this hand. Le Chiffre angrily leaves. To celebrate his win, he invites Vesper to his house. After a long chat, the two opens their hearts to each other, but Mathis send a message to call Vesper out. Bond feels that it isn't right. Vesper is kidnapped as soon as she goes out as predicted. Bond quickly chases after. With Aston Martin's speed, there is no need to say, he is about to catch up with the opponent. Bond suddenly sees Vesper tied up in the middle of the road. Without thinking, he hits the steering wheel. The whole car rolls over many times. Le Chiffre takes out the tracking chip from Bond's hand, then carries him with Vesper into the car and drives away. To get the 150 million that Bond won, Le Chiffre tortures him. He is in great pain, but he never surrenders to anyone, because he knows the bank code is his only way. It is also the reason that Le Chiffre is chased and killed. But Vesper's scream in another room makes him dumbfounded for a moment. Finds this way works, Le Chiffre prepares to flay his flesh. At this time, the room opens. The one who walks out is the mysterious contact Mr. White. He doesn't listen to Le Chiffre's explanation. Shoots him without mercy. Then Bond is taken to the hospital. 1 week later, accusing Mathis as the first thing Bond does after waking up. Through this, Vesper is swept off by Bond. She always accompanies by his side. Bank staff also come, as long as he enters the password. $150 million goes straight to Bond's account. After Vesper enters the account number, he asks her to enter the password again. It turned out that at the time of setting the password, Bond enters her name. Vesper is moved she can't say a word. They two officially become a couple. Bond also resigns from 007, leaves MI6 to live with Vesper. They travel together everywhere. But one phone call makes Bond get chills. Mrs. M calls, she asks when 150 million will be returned to the National Treasury. Bond is astonished, because the day he woke up he paid 150 million. All of this proves Vesper has a problem. After checking with the bank, he immediately chases after his girlfriend. After a while he discovers that Vesper comes to deal with other people. After seeing Bond, she is held as a hostage. They hide into the water storage. Their guns are too hard, so he decides to break the water tanker. The building begins to collapse. After a fierce battle, Bond beats up the terrorists. But Vesper is trapped in an iron cage. Looking into Bond's eyes, she is extremely ashamed of his love. Vesper locks the door and sinks into water. Bond doesn't give up. He immediately jumps into the water to save her. When he opens the door, Vesper is dead, looking at the breathless lover in his own arms. Bond is furious, but he can do anything, because all the people involved are all dead, without any clues. Then Mrs. M lets him know that. It turns out that Vesper's boyfriend was kidnapped by a terrorist organization. She took 150 million of Bond to save her boyfriend's life. That's why Vesper betrayed Bond. That is also the reason why when she knew his code, she was so emotional. It also explains for the thing that, when Bond came to save her, she chose death. She knows how strong that terrorist organization is. She has lost a man in her life. She couldn't hurt him who loves her truly anymore. Bond has mixed feelings now. At the time he is grieving. Then Vesper's phone gives him new clues. Through the location of the message, he finds Mr. White. Bond shoots him in the leg, grabs him by the neck and interrogates. This is the end of the movie. The first time Bond is a man for love giving up money. But it's a pity for him because Vesper's taken. In the end, the lesson that Bond leaves is, do not be so into girls then forget our own duties. Therefore, his next actions will probably be careful with women, right? Okay, it is time for the boat to make land. See you all again.